Perfect. Hey everyone, and welcome to World Conservation Summits. My name is Tanja Andersen, and today we have a very special guest that I have looked so much forward to get on this amazing interview as being a co-host about this amazing work we're doing in World Conservation Summit. So she name is Suzanne Smith. Welcome, my friend. Can you hear me?
Hello,
Are you?
Tanya.
Can you hear me?
Good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon. Oh my God, it's like 6 a.m. in Susan's time, and it's like 1 a.m. in my time, so it's time differently there. So, Susan, before the first time, I believe the first time when you get connected with me about from a post on social media, and I look you guys up, and I saw there was like a pink dolphin. Have seen it before, not really creating the big awareness about it. It's like, wow, is there a pink dolphin in this world? And when I have a talk with someone else, it's just like, yes, there's a pink dolphin. Is a pink dolphin out there? Oh, yes, there is. So it's very interesting that this amazing Amazon River dolphin is playing a big role in the Amazon River, as we will talk about, like why this animal is so critical to really protect and take care of in the Amazon River for the environment. It's just interesting, like many people have no clue, is there's a pink dolphin out there? Like dolphin is gray, a little bit more like dark in the color, not pink. It's just like very interesting about that. So Susan, tell us a little bit about like you and your organizations, the organization called the Amazon River Dolphin Conservation Foundation. So tell us a little bit about, and you are executor. That word is so, it's very interesting for me to say that word. It's like, oh my God, sometimes will not get out of my mouth. You are a
Well,
oh my God, can you please say a little bit about you instead of me like really getting the wrong
well,
all the time?
absolutely. Absolutely. So I have been working with marine mammals for over 30 years, predominantly dolphins, bottlenose dolphins that, like you were mentioning, the gray dolphins that everybody is familiar with. And I traveled down to the Amazon well over a decade ago, and I had heard about these pink dolphins. And the first time I saw them, I I was head over heels. I couldn't believe it. Just like you said, it kind of blew my mind, and I was so used to seeing the gray dolphins that we see all the time, and here are these dolphins. They look very different. They have not only are they pink in color, but they also have these really long rostrums, which is the beak at the front of their face, and they have these huge flippers.
Okay.
So they have these little beady eyes as well. So the first time I saw them, they were definitely very strange and very different to me. But I instantly fell in love with them and wanted to know more about them. So back in 2014, when I came back from a trip to the Amazon, I decided that I have a skill set of working with marine mammals for such a long time that I probably would be able to help out the folks in Brazil, and by that, the Amazon River dolphins as well. So I started to ask more questions, and I started the organization, Amazon River Dolphin Conservation Foundation, and we've been going strong for over 10 years now, and it's been great.
Oh, that is amazing. So, all right, 10 years. It's just also very interesting. Like, tell us a little about also one of the things that we getting into is also like the events that you're holding. Like, I saw you have like two different kind of events in 2026 where people can really come down and create a big awareness about it, and also really get connected with the pink dolphin as your amazing work you're doing down there.
Yeah, that's so I travel down to Brazil probably four times a year. Two times I take solo trips and I
Okay.
go and work with the communities and the dolphins. But the other two times a year, I take groups with me. So we do eco tours, and we get on a live aboard boat. We have 10 cabins, and it's 2 people per cabin. They're very fancy cabins. Um, and, my work is about the Amazon River dolphins. So, of course, I take the groups to see where our conservation area is, and they get to see and meet the dolphins. And they also get to meet the folks in the riverside communities that have become such a big part of my life through this project. But everything is so important to the Amazon, right? It's this huge ecosystem. So while we definitely start off going for the dolphins, there's so much more to see. And that's really what I want people to get out of it, because everybody has different interests, right? So,
Yeah.
um, whether you like to go on rainforest hikes, whether you are a bird enthusiast. Oh my goodness, Tanya, we see so many birds, from these really pretty little songbirds all the way up to, oh my goodness, we see jabiru storks, we see harpy eagles, king vultures, so and everything in between. So if you are a bird enthusiast, it's definitely a trip you don't want to miss. We see sloths. Everybody
Oh my
loves a
God.
sloth,
Oh yeah,
right?
it's very
We see
interesting.
lots of sloths, and they're so cool to watch. And primates. Oh my goodness, there are so many primates down there. We see, goodness, we see spider monkeys, we see red howler monkeys, black howler monkeys, uh,
Wow.
uh, uh, we see pied tamarins, we see all kinds of things. So that's what we do for 10 days. And I show people around the Amazon, and it's great. So yeah, I take about 20 people at a time.
Oh wow. I really have a huge belief that really get connected with the wild spirit in us, like really get connected with like our lungs. Like the Amazon is our lungs, like the jungle is our lungs, give so much life or the opportunity for us to live on this earth. I really believe the connection with the Amazons will bring us into a deeper connection with who we are as the impact we are here to make on this earth, because it's unlocked something in our mind, soul, body, spirits in being in connection with that kind of wild spaces and natures as the animals.
I absolutely agree. And in this world, the free space is becoming smaller and smaller. And when I first started going down over a decade ago, it used to take me a couple of days to kind of not checking Wi-Fi all the time, like
Oh
checking
wow.
emails and social media, and not having your cell phone attached to your hand all the time. It takes a couple of days to kind of to just let it go. Um, but that's also one of my favorite things about our trips, whether it's my solo trip or whether it's our group trip. We land in the airport very late at night. The flights usually land about 2:30 in the morning, but we go straight to the boat. And it's a very busy city, and things are always happening, even that early in the morning. But as soon as we get on the boat, we take off. And when you wake up, you are away from all of it, and you are out in the middle of the jungle, and you can hear the birds, and you can hear the monkeys calling.
Oh my
And if you're
God.
right by the river, sometimes you might hear, which is a dolphin taking its
Oh
breath.
my
And
God.
when I hear those sounds, that's when it just all washes away. And I'm just at such peace. And it's
Hmm.
it's a really amazing experience.
Oh my God, it does. It does. It is incredible what the that kind of jungle, like also the Amazon, of course, that different kind of jungles all over the globe. It's just like that kind of being in the wild and being like not connected to what we used to be every day and really letting go of many things to be there.
Exactly, exactly. And one of the, we visit the riverside communities, but we also visit an indigenous community, and they do a lot of traditional songs and dance for us. They also have their traditional instruments. So they will play these instruments that no one has ever seen. And it's very ceremonial. So even going to visit them, I love that too, because that even reaches like a whole different level because they truly believe that they are one with the jungle and with all of the animals, and they have different ceremonies where you can sometimes it can go for 24 hours,
Oh,
and
really?
you become your animal spirit. So I know I have friends who have done some of these ceremonies, and I have one friend who says that he is the spirit of the jaguar, and that's what he learned from the indigenous communities. So I love meeting up with them and just their traditional ways of life and their culture. It's amazing.
Oh, one day.
Are you ready to
It will
go?
happen. Oh my God, I'm waiting. Last time I was in the jungle was in the Guatemala in Flores and lived there in the Corona when there was like lockdown. So I was like in the jungle for like 5 months. Like one day, Susan, I will live there for my whole life. Like I belong in the jungle for fighting for the wild animals and fighting for nature and really also being the woman out there because I really believe to be connected with the Amazon river dolphin as the missing animals that is down there in the Amazons really bring us back to who we are meant to be as the core of the being of the woman that we receive before we get to this earth. I really believe that with my whole being.
I believe that as well. And I've always thought that I will end up in the jungle as well.
Oh my God.
Right
Okay.
next to right next to the river
Oh
for
my
the
God.
dolphins. But I have believed for a long time that that's where my soul is.
Oh my gosh, me too, me too. So let's get into like the importance about the importance of the Amazon River dolphin conservation and its role in the environment. So share a little bit about like why is this talk so important to talk about?
Yeah, so you know, river dolphins are what we call sentient beings. So they are a true indicator of what's really happening in the river and in the rainforest, because they are at the top of their chain, right? So if the dolphins are eating the fish and the people are eating the fish, but the fish are not healthy, then it disrupts this whole chain. And not only with the health, but there are a couple of areas of the Amazon where the Amazon river dolphin is actually hunted. They are hunted and killed to be used as bait
Oh,
to catch
really?
a type of catfish. Yes, it's terrible. That's why we believe that conservation education is so important. So there are areas, there is illegal mining, there is a lot of deforestation happening in the Amazon, and with the illegal mining comes a lot of runoff, and all of those mercury and things of that nature going into the river, and the fish live there, and the fish, they breathe with their gills, so they're in the water, and if the water is not healthy, the fish will be affected by that first, and then the dolphins eat it, but also the people will eat those fish as well.
Wow.
And there have been people, children, that have tested with very high mercury levels. Um, so there's a lot happening, unfortunately, in the Amazon with deforestation, habitat degradation, and the illegal mining that I talked about, and pollution and
Oh gosh.
overfishing. It goes on and on. So I felt that it was really important to talk to the people down there and see what they think of the dolphins. There is a legend, Tanya. I don't know if we even talked about this last time. There is a legend of the Amazon river dolphin that the elders believe that the river dolphins are shapeshifters.
Oh wow.
And
No,
so when they
I have not heard that.
you, you are going to love this story. So they believe that when they have their, their fiestas in the nighttime, there is a handsome man that no one knows that will come into the village, and he's dressed in white and he is always wearing a white hat. And they believe that the hat is to cover Boto's blowhole. So this man will come in and he will charm and seduce the ladies, and he will take them away to his enchanted underwater world. So they believe that they are shapeshifters. Um, so there's a lot of legends about
Oh
them as
wow.
well. So they 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 revere the river dolphins, and they also fear them as well. But there's also somewhere in the middle where they are hunting them and killing them to be used as bait. So I wanted to find out more of what people believe about this legend. Um,
Oh
does
wow.
it affect their thought today? Does it affect whether they hunt them or not? I know a lot of fishermen, so I want to talk to the fishermen. Do the dolphins get caught in your nets? Do they tear up the nets? Do you consider them a nuisance? If so, what are some of the solutions? What are some of the things that we can do to help you so you can continue with your livelihood without harming the river dolphins? And people have been very open to ideas and to these discussions down there. So that has been really wonderful. I love going into these communities, and we have these sort of town hall meetings, and we talk about their problems and their concerns, and we try to come up with solutions for their problems.
Oh, love it. When I was like searching on the internet to also get educate myself about the pink dolphin, I did not get connected with that about the legend of the animals down there.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I have been in a situation where I have been in the water with the river dolphins. And the first time this happened to me, the dolphins were pretty far away, but I was putting my head in the water because I wanted to hear they make clicks and whistles. So I was trying to listen to them, and I had an elder woman come down in a panic because she wanted me out of the water because
Oh,
she was afraid that the dolphins were going to take me away. And I said, it's okay, but no, but out of respect, and at first I didn't understand, but out of respect, I got out of the water. And then I understood that there are definitely areas of the Amazon where they truly believe this. So by
oh
having some
wow,
of
that's
these
crazy.
open discussions and learning about their fears and learning about their problems with the
Yeah,
dolphins and other animals and coming up with solutions, they in turn become citizen scientists. My project, I've always said my project is if the local people do not believe in this project, then there's absolutely no point in
true,
me doing this, right? So
true,
we have to work together. We are partners in this.
true.
I never go down there and tell them that they are doing the wrong thing. We are working together to find solutions.
I like that.
So
I
we
like that.
do a lot of the projects that we work on.
Yeah.
My foundation, we work on photo identification. So there are a lot of animals that we know. There are about 25 dolphins, 25 or 30 dolphins that we can identify as individuals. And some of them have some really cool stories. And when you put that storytelling to it, it really makes a difference, and it really can touch the heart. So, for example, there's this one dolphin um, that I know. His name, oh, there's two of them with a very similar story, but Coromine is he's kind of a legendary dolphin. And he, when he showed up, he had his rostrum is twisted. So his name in Brazil is Coromine. Sometimes in English, we call him Twisty, just because his rostrum is twisted. Um, and so I've been following him for 12 years now, and I always see him, and he's a very unique individual. And I've heard stories of his rostrum was broken. I've heard that he was harpooned, and then last summer he actually was harpooned. So whatever
Oh wow.
caused him to break his rostrum and for it to not heal correctly, last summer, he got harpooned, and the harpoon went in right behind his eye,
Oh
and
my
part of
God.
the harpoon snapped off, but part of it stayed lodged in his head.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so they were calling me. I was talking to veterinarians almost on a daily basis on things that we could do to help out. I was sending down medical supplies. Um, so so now we can tell his story and why that doesn't need to happen. And
Oh,
especially, when you can put a name to the face, and then you become a little bit more, it becomes a little bit more,
it,
you're a little bit more in touch.
yeah, and also like a deeper connection instead of just like that is just
Exactly.
an animal. Yeah,
The
yeah,
connection is a
connection. Yeah,
lot more powerful.
yeah, it is.
And there was another dolphin that I know of, Apogino, and Apogino was also harpooned several years ago, and his harpoon went through his dorsal fin. The the river dolphin does not have a true dorsal fin; they have more of a ridge, and the harpoon went through his ridge. Um, and even though he was harpooned by people, he sought out people for help. And he went to one of my partners in Brazil with this harpoon, and she helped to remove it and and he stayed by her house,
Oh
and she
wow.
helped to make sure he got fed every day. And now I see him all the time too, because he comes to this area as kind of a thank you, and not only a thank you, but he knows it's a safe place for him to be because those people took care of him. So again, kind of going to that conservation education,
Yeah.
talking about why the animals are important, and being able to teach that, so that if these methods of hunting start to travel downriver, we are already working in an area that knows how important and why these animals are important to the entire ecosystem of the Amazon River. So they will never go to those practices. Um, but
Yeah.
I love
It's just
going down there and seeing these individuals, and I'm able to tell my groups, right? I can go, oh, there's Apogino. Let me tell you about Apogino and his story. So it definitely creates a much bigger connection for people.
true, true. 100% like a story, like a name story, and also like a little bit like a personal experience as you have experience with all the dolphins. So you also have like this personally touch in sharing the story. So that is so important. And also like what you share about like community, I really believe like through community, through like really meet the person where they are with no judgments, because we are where we are because we all have a past, and our past is very different, and it's also different for where you live in the world, what culture do you have, how did you grow up. So there's so many elements in why a person do as the person do. Maybe we will not understand why.
100%.
Maybe we will not understand why a person killed the pink dolphin. It's still like meet the person and get to understand like what is behind that, because there's always a deeper why the person choose that. And sometimes in the case some cases sometimes people will not kill the animals and they still do it because of something in the past.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting, and thank you so much for meeting the people where they are. It takes a lot of like really a lot of strength, power, and also awareness about really hold the stance. Like you are where you are. There's nothing wrong with where you are. I'm where you are. Let's meet and have a conversation about our 2 point of the story. So thank you so much, Susan, for really hold the stance and be the stand for us.
Of course, because sometimes it's just what they're taught, and they were never given their alternatives. So if I think about a family who has 10 children to feed, and he's just trying to keep food on the table for his family, for his community, you start to understand why. And he may not want to kill the dolphin,
Exactly.
but he has to feed and take care of his family. And I can understand that. So let's find an alternative. Let's find a
Exactly.
solution for you that is a win for everybody,
Yeah,
including the dolphin and the ecosystem.
exactly.
So that's why it's so important to involve them.
Yeah, and coexist with the animals as with the nature. Like I would believe there is a solution to everything. It's just creating, find it, or reshape it so that it's matching in the person's life and a thing that the person wants to like act on.
Yeah. And, I love when I go down there. I still to this day do not know how they know that I'm on the river. But they find me. They know I'm there. Um, but they know why I'm there now.
Yeah.
And they're always so excited to tell me about some dolphin experience that they saw, or something that happened when they were out fishing. Sometimes it might be they saw a dolphin give birth, or they saw a bunch of dolphins together. Sometimes it's they saw there's two types of river dolphins actually, and
Oh,
they'll
really?
tell me if they see both of those dolphins interacting. So they're always really excited. So by including them, they're very aware of it. And so we use that to get an idea of also population
Yeah.
of the river dolphins, because they are endangered. Amazon river dolphins are endangered.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of neat to find out where they are, because the Amazon is huge, right? Obviously, we know that,
Yeah.
but when you're in it, it's indescribable. So my assistants down in Brazil, they are from that area, so they know all these little secret passageways to go. But it's great to have these local people that live in the riverside communities. Oh, I saw this over here just last week, so we might be able to go to a certain area that we might not ever go to anyway, and observe the different behavior with the dolphins that we hadn't seen before. So I love working
Exactly.
on all of those projects.
Oh my God, just amazing. So, Susan, share a little bit about like I believe you have touched point on why the river dolphin is very critical, like the role in the environment. You share about that, correct? You share a little bit about why it's so important to protect it so that it's stay there for all the time.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of just that chain, because if they are dying off because of bad fish,
Yeah.
because of fish that are poisoned, then that's going to affect the people, because a huge portion of their diet is fish. Um,
Oh,
so it's a part of protecting them as well. So that's why it is so important. So yeah, so that's one of the things that we're always trying to focus on, and just keeping them safe. And sometimes, I want to make sure that I'm clear that it's sometimes not always the hunting and over pollution and all of those things. But we have a problem with climate
true.
in this world, right? So last year, a year and a half ago, we lost over 300 animals due to the drought. So it was an El Nino year, and it was so hot, and there was such a lack of rain that pockets of the Amazon River was actually drying up, and you could walk the
Oh, I saw
river
that.
for miles. You could walk it for miles. In the way that the forest is laid out, and as the water drops, sometimes, if you think about after a heavy rain, you get those puddles that
Yeah.
don't necessarily dry up. So there would be these little pockets um, with river dolphins that were still alive, but just in a
Oh,
very small body of water. But then those would dry up. So we lost over 300. The river dolphins, the little gray dolphin, and also manatees. So certainly there are problems that we create, but there are problems that the entire world has to deal with,
true,
right? Problems
true.
that we have created ourselves. And to lose that many animals of an already
Crazy.
endangered species
It's a big
is
loss.
devastating. It's
Yeah.
devastating. And that's why the population studies are so important. Um, last year was an El Nino year, and we lost animals, but not nearly as devastating as the previous year. So we are coming up on that time of year again.
Already.
The
Oh,
water is starting to go down in the Amazon right now. They have high water and low water seasons. So the water is starting to go down. And what's really interesting, and people don't realize, we talked a little bit about how big the Amazon is. The
yeah.
Amazon River can actually drop or rise, depending which season you're in, between 30 and 40 feet. And it drops or rises pretty rapidly. Um,
Crazy.
so we will be keeping an eye on those areas again this year. Hopefully, since it is not an El Nino or an El Nina year, hopefully we can cruise through this year a little bit easier and not have quite the impact. But we're on standby and always ready to go, and that's another reason why it's so important to have our supporters to be able to ready to go
Yeah.
on a moment's notice. If I get the call, like we're seeing animals dying and they need to be relocated and they need medical needs and we need supplies to move them, then we can get those things and bring them down to Brazil and help out.
Oh, it's crazy. So when you talked about that, like there's such in the here in the last part is like the people out there that's watching this interview, how can they support your work? Like, what is the three actions they can do in their own private life, and how can they also support your work down there?
Yeah, some of it sounds it sounds very common, recycle, reduce, reuse, all of those things that are so important. We have to get better about
Yeah.
that, certainly,
Oh yeah.
and taking care of our trash. Um, I live in a city where there is no recycling. We have a very poor recycling program.
Oh,
Um,
crazy.
and I know that there are people that work very hard towards that. So what can we do to just set our side? We will keep all of our recyclables and we'll bring them to another city with the big trash bags and whatnot. So just watching out for your pollution and making sure you're doing those things.
Yeah.
Come on a trip.
Yeah, before you sharing about that trip, because I want that trip. So before that one, it's just interesting when you share about this, like our garbage. It's just also to you guys out there. It's also important for you to really learn the skills that stand out and be different. Like me and on my work, I also have a work here beside here, and most of them is throwing like plastic down with everything else. Where we have like system to our garbage where I live. So I didn't never thought that I should take my hands down in garbage with like sneeze and whatever that is down there with my bare hands, take down there to get the plastic off. And I'm doing that. And my coworker just like, oh, this is just Tanja. Now it's just fun and easy. In the beginning, they was looking a little bit weird on me. I just like, I don't care about that. I'm taking my hand down. And now it's just like, this is just Tanja. Now it's just normal. So to you guys, there is a period of time where maybe people will judge it for you to be different, do something else that you may not normally do in your life, or there's not people is not doing where you are. And there will also come a point where it will be normal for people to be around you, for you to do what you stand for. So also just stand out, stand for your standards, and just be different and show people by actions that it's important to take the plastic where it belongs,
Yeah.
so that it get recycled on properly ways. Definitely here in Denmark, because we have a okay system for all that.
Yeah, I can totally picture you doing that too. But as we were talking, another one that just came to my mind that absolutely drives me nuts is balloon releases.
Oh my God.
Stop doing balloon releases. They doesn't, the balloons go up and they come back down somewhere, and whether it's, in the ocean, whether it's in the river, and some poor unsuspecting aquatic animal is going to believe that it's food, and you
Oh
know the
yes,
stories.
sea turtles is eating
Sea
that.
turtles.
Yeah,
So that's a really easy one to just not do it.
yeah.
But most importantly, you can come on down on a trip. People coming on a trip, that definitely helps support our organization. Um, but it also helps you. It
Yeah.
immerses you in the Amazon. And I guarantee that you will think that the river dolphins are cool. But you do, like I said before, you get to see everything else. And one of the very first things I do when everybody gets on the boat is I ask you, why are you here? What is your interest? Because
Mm.
sometimes people want to see birds, sometimes people want to see just the river dolphins. People want to go on hikes into the rainforest. So whatever it is that's your interest, I will do everything I can in my power to make sure that that happens for you. Um, and I love watching people from my groups go into these riverside communities. And of course, they speak Portuguese, and our groups generally speak English. Um, and there's no communication per se, there's no dialogue, but there's just a sense and a spirit. And when we all come together to play soccer, like, and everybody laughs and has a good time, and nobody can have a conversation,
Oh
but
my God, so fun.
you're trying to kick the ball to your end. That's all you need to know. But
It's
you're playing with these people.
it's so true, and it's so interesting because when I was down in Guatemala, live in the jungle, most of the staff member down there, they could not speak English. They all speak Spanish. I was like, I have no clue what you're saying. And we learn body language. Like we learn each other's body language. When a
Yes.
person wants something, or a specific animal needs something care, we learn each other's like body language. Like, oh, I know what you
Hmm.
mean now, and we get like the sense of like the vibration of the sounds when it's coming out. It's like, oh, you mean that one. So to you out there, don't be nervous and fearful. I 100% understand that if you are there, because maybe you meet someone you have no clue how to speak with, you will find a way to communicate with the person to get your message out there, or communicate what you ever or you need for the person. So there's always a way to get connection, because imagine this, like there was a one time where we as a human did not have a language. Like we could not speak. We have not word out of our mouth. We learn to
Right.
communicate by our body language and vibration. We still have that. many people are lost at. So also look at this trip when you go to the Amazon. Look at this trip as you also learn a new language. Learn a new language that you have already have in you that is just locked away. That is your body language as your vibration, the sounds, how you move. That is a language that is locked away in you, and you can unlock that by amazing experience at a trip as down there with Susan and her team.
Yeah, it's wonderful, you know, and I have myself and my guide, you know, we can speak Portuguese, of course. My guide is always from Brazil, and I can speak Portuguese. So worst case scenario, yes, we can translate for you.
That's
Um,
fun.
but it's such a fun experience just to go and play soccer, right? Soccer is the international language of
Yeah.
Brazilians anyway. Um, so they love playing soccer with us. And then after we run around for an hour, we'll go swimming, and the whole community will come down to the river, and we all
Oh,
swim,
wow.
and the kids like to play games, and we teach them chicken fights and things like that. So it's a really great experience.
Check, I'm going. Oh, amazing, Susan. So into the end, like, what is one thing you would like the people to go with out of this intro? Like, what is one thing you want a person to go with from everything we have shared up to now?
River dolphins are cool. They are so cool, and they can tell us so much about the health of the Amazon rainforest. And we have to do our part to save them, because by saving them, we save the rainforest. And by saving the rainforest, we save this planet and we save us on it. So,
Oh,
um, you know, their biology is just, there's so many cool things to learn about them, and you can go to my website and learn all about the river dolphins and see pictures from our trips. But
and
that's
videos.
really, yes,
There's
and
also
videos.
videos.
I'm glad you saw them. So that's really kind of the cyclical, the circle message, right? If we save
Yeah.
the dolphins, we save the river, we save the rainforest, and we can save our planet.
Amen. And save ourselves.
Exactly.
So in the end, Susan, where can people get connected with you guys?
The best way, of course, we are on social media. We are on Facebook and we are on Instagram. And then if you go to our website at ardcf.org, there's certainly a way to contact me through that, but it has a lot of information about the projects that we work on. Um, there's information about our trips. There are exercises. There's some fun sheets for children. There's a kids corner where there's dot to dot and coloring pages. So there's a lot of information right on our website.
Oh, I love that. I love them. So with that, guys, thank you so much for being here with Susan Smith and me. We are honored by you taking the time to be here with us and seeing this. We will invite you to share this interview with people that is in your network, share on social media. As always, as most of all, go to their webpage and follow them on different kinds of social media. You will also receive an email again from us where you have all the links so that you get connected with them right away after this interview. So go follow them so that you keep updated on what is the latest update, how you can support them, how you can really be elements in their important work as they are doing down in the Amazon River for the pink dolphin. So Susan, my dear friends, it has been an honor. It has been a blessing for you to come on here. I have looked so much forward to it, to learn about the pink dolphin, because I was so excited to know, like, is that pink dolphin? It is so pink. It is crazy how pink it is or can be. Like, that is fun. And also
The honor
sharing.
has been mine. Thank you for inviting me to speak about these really cool animals.
You are most welcome as always. And yeah, thank you so much for everything, Susan. You are a hero for the Amazon River dolphin, and thank you for your team and your time.
Thank you, Tanja.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing day, and see you everyone soon again. Bye, everyone. Så,
Yay.
and now we ended.
Now I can see.
Yeah.